Shine with Kendell Lenice. Real talk for real people. Let's shine together.
All right, we are shining together in a different way, y'all. Welcome to Shine with Kendell Lenice. I am your host, Kendell Lenice. Hopefully you can hear me well, and I won't know until we get this playback. I am coming to you live from my car, so in advance you're going to hear some blinkers, you're going to hear some cars riding by, you may hear some wind, and if that's going to bother you, then I do apologize. I'm in my car rolling out, and I decided, hey, let me do my podcast. This is only probably the second time in the 8 seasons that I did that. I wanted you guys to experience some of the things that I am thinking, and I know I have my mini podcasts within these podcasts that I'll do on my mind, but those are just less than 5 minutes. I tell you what's been on my mind this week. But this week will be a little different, so hopefully you can hear me okay. But a lot of my ideas and a lot of thinking takes place while I'm driving, and that's a good thing, because driving is a place, especially if you're in the car by yourself and you're just thinking. And as a life coach and as a speaker, I'm often obviously thinking about topics of ways to heal and to grow and all of that. But I also think about life and living. And this podcast episode is going to be about intentional living. Now, you hear people saying, including myself, set your intentions for the day. What do you intend for this day? And a lot of people say, well, Kendell, what do you mean set your intentions? Setting your intentions simply means, what do you expect from the day? What are your intentions for this day? What are your goals? What are your dreams? What's on your agenda for today? Now, if you have never set your intentions for the day, you just allow your intention, whatever happens to happen. And of course, God is in control. And some people say, okay, well, that's what I do. I allow God to just move. And of course, there's nothing wrong with that. But faith without works is dead. Y'all know, you have to do the work. God will always do his part, but you still have to do your part. And setting your intentions for the day helps you stay on track with what you're trying to do and what type of day you're trying to have. Now, if you're trying to have a great day and that's what you intend to do, then what are you doing to make sure your day is great? Make sure your day is super. Make sure your day is fantastic. What are you doing? So if you say, well, I don't know what I'm doing, then what's going to happen is you're not going to do what you need to do when it's time to do it. You're going to continue to do the same things you're doing without understanding the concept of the day that you're trying to have. You get what I'm saying? So you really want to think about what you're doing for that day. Now, I just want to make sure, you're going to hear a little blinker and stuff, making sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, because I don't want to get caught out here in the nighttime and not going where I'm supposed to go. But when you're intending for something to happen on your day, right? Let's just say you're intending something to take place, something to happen for your day. What are you doing about it? What steps are you taking to make sure you have the best day ever? Now, if you're not taking the steps to make sure you have the best day ever, then you're going to repeat the same things that you have been repeating without. Let me make sure I'm good. What am I doing? Holla. 1 second. This is what happens. This is what happens. Making sure I'm doing it right, going the right way. I can't even talk. The right way. Give me a second. I am still here, y'all. I'm still her. Hopefully you can still hear me. And we can do this thing. I just want to make sure I'm going the right way. All right. So if you say, for instance, that you want to have the best day ever, but everything you're doing is not conducive to the day that you're supposed to have, and you keep repeating the same things over and over and over again, or being involved with the same people over and over again that are not conducive to your day being great. Like if you have someone who has negative energy, right? Always has negative energy every time you speak to them, but you start your day off speaking to them, what kind of day do you think you're going to have? And that's what you have to really think about. When it's time to have a great day, and that's something that you want to do, then you have to be able to do everything in your might and surround yourself with the people who are going to fortify this great day. So, if you intend to do right with your business, if you have a business and you want to make the best day for that business, what are you doing to make sure your business is going to take place? So you could have a business. Give me 1 second. I don't know if you can still hear. Hopefully you can still hear me. But if you have a business, give me 1 second, y'all. I just want to make sure I'm going the right way. I don't want to get caught up in the, still got to be safe. Okay, I'm good to go. All right. So if you have a business, let's just say, right, and you want to grow your business, what are your intentions for that day with that business? Do you intend to network? Do you intend to write a business plan if you're creating the business? Do you intend to get on social media to see how your business can grow? Do you intend to find new employees, find an assistant, find someone to run your social media pages? Are you checking the stats on the businesses like yours to see how they're doing? Do you know if you're in the red or if you're in the black? Do you know ways to, what are you intending? Because you got to do something with the intentions of that day. Also, if you are intending to have a relationship, you're intending to be, you don't want to be single. What are you intending for that day? Sorry, I got turned around for a minute. Now we're good. But what are you intending for that day when you're setting your intentions for that day? Are you going to get on a dating app? Are you going to be open to blind dates? Are you going to be open to people setting you up on dates? Are you going to be vulnerable? Are you going to put some of your restrictions aside? Now, I'm not talking about great restrictions, but I'm saying like, well, I don't know if I want this, or I don't know if I want that, or I'm not willing to do that. Then you can't say that you want a relationship or you want to meet someone if you're not open to do that. So that might be an intention for the day, or your intention for today is to write a book or achieve a goal or to call a friend. What do you intend for that day? All right, so intentional living, when we talk about intentional living, that's what it is. Living on purpose, living out loud. Whatever your intentions are, you want to make sure they're polarized and you're doing things that you want to do. You're doing things that bring you joy. You're doing things that elevate you to the next level. That's what we're talking about here, and talking about intentional living. Because a lot of people allow life to really live them. They just go with the flow, whatever happens. They do things that they don't want to do, just to say that they're doing them. And that's not really living with intentions to do that. That's somehow allowing life to just live you. And that's not where happiness lies. That's not where you will find your joy, just doing stuff you don't want to do and saying yes to everything and doing things the same way that you've always done because it's familiar to you. That's not going to bring you happiness. That's not going to bring you joy. You're not going to find joy in those spaces. What you're going to find is more of what you're already having. And if you're not happy, then that's what you're going to bring more about. Unhappiness. And that's what I want to change for a lot of people, because I talk to people all the time and they're unhappy with their lives. They're unhappy with what's happening and they don't know how to get out of that rut. They don't know how to be free of the opinions of others. They don't know how to be free with even their thoughts and their feelings. And that's what I want to really stress to everybody now that I'm, going the right way in this car. So I apologize for that. I wanted to make sure because, I'm paying attention to the road and this is audio, so I don't have to look at anything. But I wanted to make sure I was going in the right, because y'all, I get to talking. I've been in past where I'm supposed to go. But I just wanted, that's what I was thinking. So in this car, that's what I was thinking about. Like how so many people just let life live them. And then people are gone from this earth. People are passing away with a whole lot inside of them that they wish they could have done. Or they wish were, that they would be this way. Or they didn't have the opportunity to do this. Or they only if they did that. And that's when intentional living is not taking place. You have to be purposeful with your life because life is not endless. We don't get do-overs in life in a lot of different cases. So it's so important to be intentional and live on purpose in everything you do. So many people, I know someone who passed away and had so much money in the bank, but he never lived. He worked. He never enjoyed the money. He never went on vacation, never got a massage, never took a break, never got the best out of life because he worked, then he was tired. He worked, then he was tired. And he passed away with a whole lot of money in the bank and a lot of, I wish I would have done this and that. And we found that out as his death was approaching, that he had wished he did more than he did. And I don't want that to be you. I don't want that to be the case for you, where, God forbid something is happening and then you scurry around to try to live your life the way that you want to live it. Now, a lot of times, how you were raised and what's deemed important to you or what was instilled in you, importance in the level of it. Like, you got a job, you got to get a job, you got to work, don't call out, be a stellar employee, be loyal to these companies out here, and you go to work every day and you work hard. Some people were instilled with that. And let me tell you something. I worked for a nonprofit for 13 years. I never called out one day at all. My time, to the point where the owner was like, yo, Kendell, you got to take your time, right? And I was all loyal and being a great employee and, doing everything I had to do. But when it was time to go, they didn't have no problem letting me go, no matter what department where I was running, no matter what I was doing, no matter how much of an asset I was. They gave me gifts and was like, we don't have any more money in the budget. You got to go, pretty much. And I wish that I had taken more time for myself, use every last day off that I had, and did certain things and not was loyal to something that was not mine. And anytime you work for someone, certain things like that can take place. And I was so driven by that and driven by my reputation and my loyalty that sometimes I didn't live intentionally. I lived to go to work. I lived to do certain things and not having my joy on the forefront with full intention. Y'all get what I'm saying? Because you get into these modes where you got to work. You got to take care of the kids. You got to take care of the husband and wife if you're married. You got to take care of all of these things and do all of these things. And somehow a year goes by, 2 years goes by, 10 years goes by. And you're like, am I living my life the way that I want to live my life? And years ago that came to me, even though but you have to really know and be intentional about every move that you make. Now, you can't control every move and you can't make all the plans, because they say if you want to make God laugh, to show him your plans. But you still have to meet God where he is, and you still have to be an advocate for your own joy and your own happiness and your purpose in this life. And intentions, you know how people say, well, intentions don't mean nothing. But the intentional living has to come with follow through. Like when people say, well, they had good intentions, but nothing played out. That's because there was no follow through. And in life, doing anything, you have to have follow through. So even with your life, like I was talking about a business earlier, a relationship earlier, you can't make excuses before you actually achieve or conquer or whatever you're trying to do within that day. Now, each day you have to, don't take it, let me have an intentional week. Let me have an intentional month. Let me have an intentional year. No, you want to do day by day, bite-sized pieces, little nuggets of your life, because one day is going to, if you're blessed, going to follow by the next day. If you're blessed, going to be followed by the next day, and so on and so on and so on. So when we talk about intentional living, you can look at your life as a whole, but you can't live it as a whole just yet. You got to live it day by day. So each day you should intend to carve out some time for you, some type of self-care. Now, self-care doesn't always mean you got to spend money. Self-care could be going in a room by yourself and breathing or meditating, or taking a moment to listen to your own thoughts, or be in the car and just listen to your favorite podcast, or do something that's going to bring you a step closer to that goal. And hopefully and ultimately, you should want to have joy. You should want to have peace. You should want to live an authentic, honest life. And sometimes everybody is not going to agree with the life that you want to live, but you're going to have to be able to live that life the way that you see fit. And it's so funny because now everyone is talking about intentional living and growth and healing and meditating and self-care, and everyone is using these terms. I've been a life coach for 25 years, and before I was a life coach, I used to love me some Iyanla way before Fix My Life, and a lot of people who were doing this, Les Brown, and just a lot of people who would speak these ways, right? And I remember reading Will Smith's book, read it a couple times, listened to the audio. It was an amazing book. And he talks about his growth and his healing journey and how he is now, opposed to how he was and throughout life trying to figure it out. Now, there's no certain age where you figure it out all of a sudden. You can figure this out at 25. You can figure this out at 35. You can figure this out at 60, 65. It doesn't matter when, as long as you do it. But I would love for you all to see yourselves living intentionally earlier so you can have more of a life that's fulfilling for you and not driven by what other people think and how they feel you should live. So even listening to Will Smith's book, Will, you can see his journey through the words of this book, Will, and how now his intentions are so clear in who he wants to be and how he is, and he recognizes all the ways that he wasn't good to himself or good to others because he wasn't in that space of healing and growth and understanding. And it's about evolution, and you're never too old to evolve. You're never too old to grow. Y'all know my saying is it's never too late to remix your life. That's why I'm the remix coach, right? So you can wake up today or whenever you're listening to this podcast and say, you know what? I want to transform some things. I no longer want to be this way. This way is not serving me the way that I need to be served. Like the kids say, it's not giving what it's supposed to give, right? This life. And I don't want you in a place where you're miserable every day. You are living the same life every day. I always say same shirt, different, same day, different shirt, meaning that it's monotonous. You're doing the same thing every single day or every day. And it's the same day, different shirt. You're just changing your shirt and you're going on doing the same thing. That gets boring. And we've all been there, and some still there, where you do the same thing every day and you're miserable because your life is the same. And you're looking on social media and you see people's lives popping and doing certain things. And you're like, I want that. And sometimes money is involved, yes. But sometimes it's not even money. It's the mindset of the person who is doing whatever you think that you want to do. It's the mindset and the freedom that they have inside first, that they feel that they're worth it or they deserve it and they want to live life like this. Now, if your intent for life and your intention is to travel, then you have to figure out a way and be intentional about finding a way you can travel. Now, some may have barriers like money, time, children, family, where they're not able to travel as much as your favorite YouTuber or IG person, right? But you have to say, okay, I intend to travel once a month, once a quarter, once a year. How am I going to do that if my funds are low? Okay, I'm going to make money doing this. I'm going to cut back on this. I'm going to tell people in my family, okay, my mental stability depends on this, and I'm going to go on a trip. Some can go more often than not. Or you can say, okay, I don't have the time to do this. All right, so let's break the time down. How much time do you have in a day? We all have 24 hours in a day. And isn't it amazing that some people can fit so much in that day, where some people say, I still don't have enough time to do what I need to do. Everybody has the same amount of time. We all have 24, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you're in the Midwest, and whether you're on the East Coast, whether you're the West Coast, whether you're down south. We all have, whether you're in another country listening to this, we all have 24 hours in the day. And being intentional about your day and how you spend your hours is the key. Now, if you spend most of your hour, now listening to this podcast, y'all can be doing a few things, right? Because you just put the audio on, you're not looking at anything, and you could be working out right now. You can say, you know what, I want to listen to Shine with Kendell Lenice, but I also got to work out. I also got to cook. I also got to drive. You can do two things at the same time. But what you can't do is scroll on social media and look at pictures or look at videos or memes and still run your business and still make love to your spouse and still be the best mom or dad that you can be, or still, climb Mount Everest or whatever. You can't do that and scroll on social media. So if you say you don't have enough time to write that book, but every time somebody looks at you, your face is in Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, wherever, then do you really intend to write that book? Do you? Because you can't really intend to write that book if you're not writing that book. And I do workshops and help people write their book and tell their stories. So you have to say, I'm intentional about turning my phone off, taking the apps, social media apps off my phone so I can focus on actually writing my book. And that's the intention that I'm talking about. You can't just say, oh, well, I can do it tomorrow. No, that's not being intentional. If you know that you have to write 2 chapters a day, or that you know that you have to do something and it's time sensitive and you're putting it off for tomorrow, then you're not intentionally living. So what's going to happen is 1 week is going to turn into a month. The month is going to turn into 3. And next thing you know, you're going to have been trying to write this book for a year. You know how many people, because of my book, I want to write a book. I've been trying to write this book for 10 years, and then the life coach in me is like, okay, what have you done? Do you have a title? Do you know how you're going to publish it? Do you know how many chapters you're going to have? What is the book about? Well, I haven't gotten that far. You ain't got that far in a year, and it's not about judgment. It's about intentionality. So you don't intend to write the book. You're just talking. Because if you intended on writing the book, you would have something there. You see where I'm going with this? So you really have to be intentional about the life that you are leading. And if you're not intentional about your life, then life is going to just pull you along. You ever see somebody walking a big old dog, and first the owner, all control and macho looking, and they walking their dog, and soon that dog start walking them, and they're running trying to catch up with the dog. That's what you're going to do with life. If you don't get control of life, life will get in control of you. And I don't know about y'all, I ain't getting younger. Unless y'all are Benjamin Button, then y'all not getting younger either. So you don't always have to wish you had someone else's life. If I had a nickel for every time one of my clients or an audience that I speak to or social media, talks about somebody else's life. Now, I see some people going on vacation every month, and I'm like, how can I do that? Let me be intentional about going somewhere every single month. Okay, Kendell, what do you need to do? That's the kind of stuff you should do. Not just sit back and scroll and watch somebody else's life while they're on vacation and you're not making any moves, mentally, physically, emotionally, or writing down on a piece of paper what you're trying to do. Then your intention is not to travel once a month. Your intention is to scroll through social media and watch someone else's travel destination videos, right? Your intention is not to find a significant other if you're not willing to go on dates, if you're not willing to talk on the phone, if you're not willing to FaceTime, if you're not willing to meet up, if you're not willing to have a meet and greet, then your intention is not to find a significant other. Your intention is to continue to scroll on social media and watch everybody else booed up and you not. Your intentions to find a job is not really to find a job. Your intentions are to watch everybody else's videos that are blowing up. They're making money, they're doing things, and your intention is because if you put the same energy in finding a job that you do in social media, then you might have a job. Now let's talk about starting businesses. Yes, you can look at a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of TikToks, a lot of Instagrams, and see how people started their businesses and created these businesses in a pandemic. So many people have created successful businesses in a pandemic, right? So they had to plan, they had to produce a service or a product to make this thing happen and sell these thousands and millions of dollars. Now, if you're just watching the videos and you have all of these business ideas in your head, but you're not implementing any of them, you're not moving towards starting that business, then you don't intend to start a business. You intend to be a customer and support other businesses. So you really have to be intentional about what you're trying to do with your life and in your life. Intentional living is a way of life. Intentional living is something that you're going to do on the regular basis every day. So every day when you wake up, I want you to, whether you write them in your phone, I would prefer a journal for you, but get a journal out and really each day set your intentions for the day. What do you intend for your day? You want to intend to pray every day? Do you want that to start your day? Your intentions is to have a moment with God, have a moment with yourself, breathe before you start your day. You know, your intentions is not to use your phone the first 15 minutes when you wake up. Is your intention to call someone that you love to say, hey, I've been thinking about you, I love you? Is your intention to start your day off by looking in the mirror and saying, good morning, gorgeous, or hey, handsome? You know, is that your intention? That's how you want to set your day up. And then also intend to have some type of self-care throughout your day. Intend to work on your goals, your ideas, your plans. Now, you might say, Kendell, I don't even have them. I don't know. So then you be intentional about brainstorming with yourself to come up with whatever you want to come up with. If you're trying to purchase a home or buy a house, same thing, then you need to be looking for realtors, looking at homes, thinking about what area you want to go. If you want to go back to school, figure out what school. What do you want to study? What kind of degree do you want? Those are the intentional living marks that you need to hit. And if you want joy and peace in your life, what do you need to do to get them? Do you need to remove the toxic people from your life? Are you the toxic person that needs to change? What do you need to do? And that's how you begin to start being intentional and have a purposeful life. When people say, live life on purpose, that's what they mean. Okay? So hopefully it wasn't too noisy in the car for you. I just wanted to talk to you guys. I missed you guys. And I wanted to chat it up with you on Shine with Kendell Lenice. I'm about to pull over so I can conclude this podcast because I am being safe with what I'm doing. My phone is up in the cradle. I'm not holding it or nothing like that. I'm talking and I'm looking straight ahead and I'm almost at my destination. But I really want you to think about the life that you want. And I pray that you get everything you want out of life because that makes you more happy. And when you're happy, you bring peace to others. And then you bring peace to your communities. And, you know, it changes the game when you're happy and you have ultimate joy. And that's what I want for everyone. So today is the first day and the first step to intentional living for you. Thank you everybody for tuning in to Shine with Kendell Lenice. Make sure you subscribe where you can. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave a comment and rate this podcast. It's so important. If you're listening from Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Audible, hey y'all, thank you so much. If you're able to rate and leave a comment, please do so. Remember, you are a star, so don't allow anyone to dim your shine. Until next time, God bless. Peace.
Shine with Kendell Lenice. Real talk for real people. Let's shine together.